All right. B.A. Baracus, John Rambo, Snake Plissken. They're all pussies next to Shane Sexcastle. Yeah, welcome, Betty Brady. This is episode 2 of Mike makes me read weird stuff. That does not roll off the tongue. I should probably think of a new name for this. Anyways, my buddy Mike sends me books in the mail, and he's like, "Can you read and review this?" And I said, I agreed to it. And it's been a mixed bag thus far. Granted, we're only on episode 2. I've read a few things before that he sent me, but I didn't call the show Mike Makes Me Read Weird Stuff until last episode. I'll leave a link to that there. Yeah, I'll leave a link there if you want to watch that one. That was Warcorns. But today we're talking about Sexcastle, dun, 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 by Kyle Starks. And yeah, the characters that I listed, B.A. Baracus, John Rambo, and who's the other one? Snake Plissken. They're all 80s action heroes, right? They're over-the-top, extra macho men that are manly and kill things and do manly things and eat steak raw and beat up small children and spit bullets. But yeah, they're nothing compared to Sexcastle. This is written by Kyle Starks. It first came out in 2015, and it's a one-man show as far as, well, the action goes, but also as far as the creation goes. He did everything on this, I believe. He did the art, he did the writing, he did the lettering, he did everything. And it's drawn in a fairly cartoony, loose style. I apologize, I've got the mic shadow on the book, and I have not figured out a great way to fix that yet, because I'm a goddamn amateur, people. Not like Sexcastle, who's a pro. He's the proest of pros, the broest of bros, the mostest of the mostest. He's an assassin from the Assassins Union, League of Assassins, not League of Assassins, that would get you sued. But yeah, he's the best assassin the world has ever known. He was born mean and is meaner now. And he, in the beginning, this is mostly going to be spoiler free, by the way. But in the beginning of the book, he gets out of prison and he just wants to live life as a simple florist. That's about the only spoiler I'm going to have in here. So if you didn't want to know that much, whoopsie. The book came out 7 years ago. Get with the times, people. Yeah, it's... of course, things go horribly wrong. And he's forced to, relive and reignite his assassin ways and become the badass he was born to be. He's got one eye. And you learn why. I rhyme all the damn time. This is a fun book. It is not serious. It's not going to change the world. It's not going to probably change anything. But if you are a child of the 80s and you grew up watching like John Carpenter films or like Predator or any of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, you're going to probably really enjoy this. It's a blast. It's not serious. It's not deep. It is just plain stupid fun. It's over the top. It's silly. There's things called dragons. I don't want to spoil what those are, but they're not dragons. Kinda. And there's, a whole League of Assassins. Assassins Union. You could probably figure out the formula to this book if you watch, say, any episode of Knight Rider, any episode of anything where somebody goes from town to town and trouble ensues. It follows a very basic formula as far as the plot goes. And the plot really is not the strength of this book. And the art, honestly, it's not the weakness, but it's not really the strength either. The humor and the storytelling and just the sense of fun, that's where it's the strongest. As far as the art, I touched on this a bit, but okay, hang on. No, that's not any better. Now you probably can't hear me, but it's very loose and sketchy. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of Chester Brown, except for like a heavier, thicker line. Like it's a pretty sparsely told story as far as illustrations go, and fairly sparse as far as the words go. It's not overly heavy on exposition. It's almost all told through dialogue, which is kind of great. And yeah, Kyle choreographs a great fight scene, and you're almost never lost. There are a few panels where you're like, what in the hell happened? But if you just look to the next panel, it all gets resolved quickly and you all figure it out. It's fast-paced. The whole thing, I think, takes place over the span of maybe a day or two. I'm not sure. Time doesn't really matter. And nothing really matters. It really does wear its influences on its sleeve. There are straight up like homages to, say, Jackie Chan and Mr. T and Arnold Schwarzenegger and other characters in here. There's like not ripoffs, not pastiches maybe, but yeah, and it's a send up in a way. I mean, it is celebrating the 80s books, but it also is like recognizing, or 80s movies, but it's recognizing how ridiculous they were too. I mean, you don't watch an 80s film for action film for serious, deep drama, or even serious action like the 2000s brought us. You know, this is not definitely the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Returns or anything like that. This is just stupid. And I don't mean that as an insult. It is, yeah. If you're looking for escapism and pure fantasy, and I use that term as far as like the broader sense of the word, it's not really a fantasy setting. But if you're just looking for something to get you out of your daily life, and you look for a bit of an escape, you could do much worse than this book. It's great. I really enjoy it. It's the best book out of 2 thus far that I've read on this series. And yeah, thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to leave Mike's info down below. Give him a follow. He's on Instagram. He does sales on whatnot too, and he's a fun dude. So give him a follow and just tell him Taylor sent you, and ask him if he's got a copy of Cable Number 5. He'll know what that means. But yeah, that's what I've got. It's a short review for a fairly long book, but this book, I read this in about an hour. It's not going to take you much time to get through this. And yeah, enjoy it. And don't be a dick, even if you weren't born in the 80s or didn't watch 80s movies. Actually, if you didn't watch an 80s movie, you probably can be a dick, because you're really missing out. It's a good decade for stupidity. I mean, so is the 2020s thus far, for different reasons. But we're not going to touch on that today. All right, I'll see ya. Later.